All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, call law, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach his truth and all truth and sincerity. Okay, so today we have China issues nuclear warning to Japan. Now this article is from December 22nd, which was 2 days ago. And now you're in quote unquote so-called Christmas Eve, so everybody's in the spirit of wrapping gifts and the fake family time and all that traditional bullshit that just comes around every year, the same old shit. But at the end of the day, aside from that, you have the world getting ready to go to war. All right. Now you have certain parts of the world already at war. You have other type of wars going on. You got trade wars going on. You got financial wars going on. You have a plethora of things taking place right now, right? But the main thing is all this digital ID, because this is ushering in the mark of the beast, the MOTB, the Karagma, and that's what the Akim and the true faith of YAHAWASHI are waiting for, because that's going to be the final nail in the coffin, if you will, to this place and to this devil's kingdom. Now, before they bring that out, the things are like with the war and all the other prophecies are all gonna just keep unfolding. All right, and along with it, they're getting ready to usher out that mark. So, in the meantime, what's gonna be happening? So, the judgment for receiving a karagma is gonna be the destruction of fire. The fire destruction is going to be brought with these nuclear weapons that all these nations, all these countries are getting ready and what they're preparing right now. Hence, China issues nuclear warning to Japan. You got nuclear talks all over the place every day now. All right, and that's just the stuff they actually publicizing for the public to actually be able to find out. But you got to think about what's going on behind the scenes and how their actions are. Because the whole thing with Iran, Iran just did some missile drills a day or two ago. Trump and Bibi, they supposed to meet, I believe, on the 29th of December, which is 5 days from now, about possible military attack, another military mission against Iran. So it's so much stuff happening. You got the whole thing with China and Taiwan, and I believe that's what's regarding with this. Because the whole thing with China and Japan is involving Taiwan. Because in that region, the whole thing is China and Taiwan. All right, China and Taiwan is like the Asian version of Russia and Ukraine. All right, and America is involved in both. All right, so you already see what time it is as far as America spreading itself too thin. All right, and everybody's business. But that's the way of Babylon. But let me get into this article. So this is from Newsweek. And it says China issues nuclear warning to Japan. So it says China's foreign ministry has fired a warning shot after senior Japanese officials suggested Tokyo should reconsider its nearly 8-decade ban on nuclear weapons in light of the worsening regional security environment. So I guess they're trying to say Japan is getting too big for its britches. It says the remark comes amid tensions between Tokyo and Beijing over Takachi's November 7th remarks that a military blockade around China claimed Taiwan would constitute a survival-threatening situation for Japan, a rare exception under that country's pacifist constitution that could allow for military intervention alongside allied U.S. forces. Now remember, they keep threatening to go into Taiwan, and even before Trump got office, I believe Biden was talking about if China goes or China attacks Taiwan, they have the full support from the United States. Now that rhetoric didn't change with Trump. So remember, these are the things that YAHAWASHI, who the world enemy called Jesus Christ, told was going to be happening in the last days. You should have wars and rumors of wars. Now it's not the big show yet, but you see the wars already happening, and you see more rumors of wars. So that's a hook, line, and sinker, what YAHAWASHI said would be taking place before he came back. All right? So it says, China has responded with a sustained public relations campaign portraying Japan as a revanchist power, citing the country's recent increases in defense spending and plans to deploy missiles on a remote island near Beijing, claimed Taiwan. Tokyo's defense ministry this year described China's military buildup and expansive moves in the region as Japan's greatest security challenge. It said Newsweek reached out to Japanese Foreign Ministry and the U.S. State Department by email with a request for comment outside of office hours. It said Guo warned that Japan has for a long time been stockpiling plutonium in amounts exceeding its civilian energy needs, and noted that the country possesses the technological capability to develop nuclear weapons in short order if it chose to do so. If Japan dares to pitch itself against the rest of the world, we were never allowed to test the bottom line in international justice, he said. It said so this is China talking about, so this is China saying the same thing that about what the small hats in America saying about Iran. They can't get to that certain capability. But it said that they could develop nuclear weapons. And it has the technology to do it. It says a senior cabinet official advising Prime Minister Sanai Takachi on national security told reporters on Thursday, which was, on Thursday. Oh, that's past Thursday, yeah. On Thursday, that it was time to begin discussions on acquiring a nuclear deterrent, citing China's rapid nuclear buildup, North Korea's advancing missile and weapons program, and a strategic threat from a nuclear-armed Russia, according to the Asahi Shimbun. So you have China, Russia, North Korea, Japan, America, Europe, Germany, all these countries all talk about nuclear war. France, Europe, NATO, all these countries are talking about nuclear war. And that goes into what? Joel, the 3rd chapter. Beat your plowshares into swords. Those swords are the missiles. Now, all of a sudden, everybody want to be into some nuclear shit. And it's just like that. Remember, this is the workings of the one true living God, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Hold up. Let me get something real quick. Zephaniah. So it's the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 8, and it says, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination is to gather the nations." And that's what the Lord is doing right now. He's gathering all these nations: Moab, Esau, Ammon, Ishmael, Elam. You know, he's gathering all these nations. Ham, the Hamites. He's gathering all these nations for what? War. For the Lord said, "It is his for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." And then what's going to start off with the fire? The nuclear missiles. And then when the Lord sends the Father sends YAHAWASHI back, he's going to bring more fire and more fire. What will I if it be yet already kindled? That's why the earth shall be devoured with the fire of jealousy. Every eye shall see him. For our God is what? A consuming fire. So everyone is going to see the Lord's return. This will be seen by all the earth, all the inhabitants of the earth. For all the kings of the earth shall shut their mouths at him. The power YAHAWASHI has come with is going to be a power that no one's ever seen on the earth, that no one's ever even dreamed or imagined. That's and even beyond that, because even you got all these cats that do all these movies, like the superhero movies, the superpower movies, even beyond the figment of Esau's imagination. Marvel movies, X-Men, Avengers, and all that, man, it's gonna be child's play compared to when YAHAWASHI come back. He's gonna show you what true power is, man. He's gonna show you what a true energy is. And that's why the Lord said, "What? Therefore, wait ye upon me." That's why you're supposed to endure. And your patience possess your souls, to not jump the gun, to remain, to be patient and wait for the Lord, because the Lord said, "What is my determination?" Because if YAHAWASHI is waiting, we gotta wait. YAHAWASHI gonna get the lion's share of this. Remember, this is all his anyway. Even the Israelites, they belong to him. The Lord said, my people, which is a possessive. My people. All right? So I'm reading the NLT, Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8, and it reads, therefore be patient, says the Lord. So what? Therefore be patient, says the Lord. Though it wait, tarry for it, it shall surely come, it will not tarry. Each day that passes, it's nudging closer and closer to that great day of the Lord, the day of the Lord. Each day passes, this bullshit Christmas going past. It's gonna be Christmas Day. Then it's gonna be December 26th. Then December 27th. Days gonna keep flying, and you can't stop these days. That's why what Revelation 12:12 says. What he knows he had but a short time. Time's gonna keep moving, and as time keeps moving, then he's just gonna be not ruling eventually. All right. As time keeps moving, eventually America's not gonna exist. This land, this part of the earth is not gonna be inhabited. That's what's coming. That's the future. Thus saith the Lord, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, because what? You can't stop this. No one can stop this. No matter how much these nations, these countries say, we don't want to go to war, we want peace. No matter what you say, it's what your actions show otherwise. And the Lord, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, the one true living God, is having you commit these actions. All right? It says, for I've decided to gather, this is NLT of Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8, it said, therefore be patient, says the Lord. Soon I will stand and accuse these evil nations, the other nations, the Gentiles. Soon I will stand and accuse these evil nations, for I've decided to gather the kingdoms of the earth and pour out my fiercest anger and fury on them. All the earth will be devoured by the fire of my jealousy, man. There you go, simple and plain. And that's going to start with those nukes. So you're going to have, that's why you got all these nations getting ready for nuclear war. And it's not going to stop. They're going to keep getting ready. They're going to keep bringing out more missiles. They're going to keep doing more tests. They're going to keep doing more threats. As YAHAWASHI said. Matter of fact, let's get that. Because that's what initially I was going to bring out. Matthew 24. So there's a book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 3. And it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, we talk about YAHAWASHI, who the word called Jesus, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and the end of the world. Excuse me. And when you read that in NLT, and it says, later YAHAWASHI sat on the Mount of Olives. His disciples came to him privately and said, tell us when all this will happen. When will all this happen? What sign will signal your return and the end of the world? It says, what sign will signal your return? Signal whose return? YAHAWASHI. Which means they knew that he was going to come back. It says, verse 4, it says, YAHAWASHI answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. YAHAWASHI, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many. And you have that going on now. And you had it going on in the past. You had the whole comfy nigga, he was talking about he was the Messiah. You had Nate say some shit to that effect. You got other niggas talking about the name of the Lord don't matter. Well, here it is. The Lord said that in my name shall you be saved. The name of the Lord is a strong tower to those that run into it. Roughly paraphrasing. So how you gonna say the Lord's name is not important, and then how you gonna give the wrong name? Because you got these niggas still out here pushing Christ, like Christ ain't did shit for anybody. And here where it gets good. So this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And you shall hear of wars. Now, are we not hearing of wars? Now, wars have been going on for a while, but are we not hearing about wars on an escalated scale? And now you have all the big name countries going at odds with each other. China, America, Russia, Europe, NATO. So it says, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Verse 6, and this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 6 in the NLT, and it says, and you will hear of wars and threats of wars. Now, is that not a threat that China just issued to Japan? A warning is a threat. And soon enough, these warnings and these threats are going to go after, actions shall follow. Yeah, it's clear enough because nobody's doing that, but the Lord said, well, you should have wars and threats of wars. All right? It says, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. So what? But what are we really? And that's why we always say what? Yeah, this war stuff is good. This is good stuff that's happening. All of the digital ID. But what's the main thing we need to see happen before this stuff really goes into hyperdrive? They have to bring out the C-HIP. They have to bring out the actual mark to the masses, and say you have to get this mark to buy and sell. And it's the RFID micro C-HIP. That's the mark of the beast. Not no fucking embargo. Not Christianity. Not whatever bullshit that these other niggas is talking about that claim to be Israelites, that claim to be preaching the truth. The mark of the beast is simple. It's something that you have to get implanted in your body to buy or sell. And that's going to be the RFID micro C-HIP, which people on the earth already have. You have people in the earth that already have the micro C-HIP and have made purchases with it. But it said he's going to cause all. So everybody's going to have to get it in order to buy or sell and be in society. And that's coming real soon. And you see how they shifting towards that. You see the gears rolling towards that. You know? This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." Verse 7 in the NLT of Matthew chapter 24 says, "Nation will go to war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." Now, don't you have nation against nations? Don't you have Esau fighting against Elam? Esau against Esau? Esau against Ishmael? Elam against Elam? Elam against Ishmael? There's a whole bunch of shit going on. Everybody's fighting everybody. It says there will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world. Now, have we seen not a lot of earthquakes? There's been earthquakes. I haven't heard about an earthquake in the last recent days, but there have been earthquakes over the last couple years in many places of the earth. So these are what? So the Lord said, when you see these things, that's the sign of that coming. That was the answer to the disciples' question that they asked them. What should be the signal of your return? Well, you should have wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes in many parts of the earth. These are the things that's taking place as we speak. I'm pretty sure. Look, hold on, let me see something. Was that article done? Hold up. Oh, some more article. Okay, it says still the official acknowledge. Fuck. It says still the official acknowledge that such a move would face major challenges, particularly Japan's status as a signatory to the 1970 Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT, which recognizes only 5 nuclear-armed states: the United States, Russia, the United States, Russia, United Kingdom, China, and France. The official also noted that there are no current discussions between the Takachi government to revise Japan's non-nuclear policy. Japan's long-standing 3 non-nuclear principles, which prohibit the possession, production, and introduction of nuclear weapons, also pose a major hurdle. It says Minoru Kahara, Japan's chief cabinet secretary, told reporters on Friday that Japan was upholding the 3 non-nuclear principles and would continue advancing its efforts toward realizing a world without nuclear weapons. Now, I believe, there was a lady, she was like 80-some years old, that was actually a survivor of World War II, and she was talking about how she wants to see a world without nuclear weapons. But you're going to see that world after YAHAWASHI comes back. See, these nuclear weapons, these are the weapons of the indignation of the Lord. That he's going to use these, he's going to have these heathens, these Edomites, use these missiles, make these missiles to destroy each other. And then he's going to come and show you and show all these nations that you're nothing but men. You're nothing but flesh. And they're going to come at him with these weapons. They're going to come at him with these rockets, these intercontinental ballistic missiles. They're going to come with the atomic missile, the hydrogen bomb. They're going to come with all that against the Lord. They're going to fight against YAHAWASHI and the angels and lose miserably. The Lord said it's going to be a great slaughter amongst the nation's armies. And it's going to be a flawless victory. YAHAWASHI is going to have a flawless victory. It says a U.S. State Department spokesperson told the Japan Times on Saturday, Japan is a global leader and a valuable partner to the United States on nuclear non-proliferation and advancing nuclear arms control. Now, it's funny because Didn't America attack Japan in World War II? Hiroshima and Nagasaki? I forget the missile's name. Big boy or some little boy, some shit. But yet now you kissing their ass now? Now you are a major ally to America? Get the fuck out of here. But you know, it's all the Lord's plan. All right, now it can something happen to where Japan goes against America. Because remember, Babylon the Great is the whore that all the nations are gonna. The Lord said, all those that bend the bow. So if Japan ends up becoming a nuclear power, that means that they're gonna shoot missiles at America, and they have a reason to. Oh shit! What the fuck? Oh shit! Hold on. Oh, come on, man. Okay, here we go. So it says, it says the national security strategy makes clear the United States will maintain the world's most robust, credible, and modern nuclear deterrent to protect America and our allies, including Japan. So now they're allies. It says, despite long-standing opposition in Japan, the only country in history to suffer nuclear attacks. It says, despite long-standing opposition in Japan, the only country in history to suffer nuclear attacks, some lawmakers within the ruling Liberal Democratic Party have called for the 3 non-nuclear principles to be revisited to allow the U.S. to deploy nuclear weapons on strategic platforms, such as its Ohio-class submarines within Japanese territory. Now, that's interesting because if the Lord has Japan turn on America, it's going to be things that America sent there. Because Japan is not a nuclear power, but they're going to be like, if they're trying to revisit this whole non-nuclear proliferation, it says Washington has reiterated that Japan, like key non-NATO U.S. allies South Korea and Australia, remain protected under the U.S. nuclear umbrella. So but you know, that's all bullshit though. That's all bullshit because eventually, if they do end up getting nuclear missiles or being able to make nuclear bombs or whatever the fuck, they're going to shoot them at America. And what? You think Japan forgot about that? Now, I don't know what holds, what backhand deal that America and Japan got for Japan to be moving this way, but obviously whatever's holding that together, that's going to fall apart soon. And Lord willing, it falls apart this upcoming year. Oops, shit. I'm going to look up earthquakes, and since YAHAWASHI said that with the wars, look up earthquakes. Recent earthquakes. Recent earthquakes in the world. Let's go with that. Okay, so out of all these articles, you have an article from 6 days ago, but it said that earthquake was in Templeton, California on November 18th, which is like a month ago. Damn. So what if I put recent earthquakes? Just that. Recent earthquakes. Okay, here we go. So since YAHAWASHI said earthquakes in dire places, so you have an earthquake in the Jerusalem Post. This is from 8 hours ago. It says a 6.1 magnitude earthquake strikes Taiwan, no damage. San Ramon earthquakes continue with 3.1 on Christmas Eve, which is today. Arctic earthquake triggers major avalanches in Sarak. It says earthquake. This is from a day ago. It says earthquake swarm rattle sent. Oh, that's the same one. Templeton. Okay. And check this out. So it says update 4.1 magnitude earthquake rattles close to Templeton, California, November 18th. And from 2 days ago, it says over 300 earthquakes relentlessly rattle Bay Area. Let's go to that one. So it's from December 22nd as well. And it says over 300 earthquakes relentlessly rattle Bay Area. It says more than 300 earthquakes have rattled the San Ramon area since November. Also it says, yet in response and public concern, experts continue to... Yet in response to public concern, experts continue to stress that small tremblers have hit the area before without leading to a major one. This is a lot of shaking for the people in the San Ramon area to deal with. Sarah Minson, a research geophysicist with the U.S. Geological Survey's Earthquake Science Center at California's Moffett Field, said SF Gate. It's quite understandable that this can be incredibly scary and emotionally impactful, even if it's not likely to be physically damaging or related to any sort of threat of a larger magnitude earthquake. But yeah, but it's still the earth shaking under you. It's at least the 6th time a series of tiny quakes has lit up this region since 1970, including the most recent event back in 2015. These sequences, technically called swarms, involve many earthquakes in a small region that don't fit the pattern of aftershocks following a main shock. So they're not too crazy, but it's still something. It said the recent rumblings around San Ramon began on November 9th with a magnitude 3.8. Mostly tiny earthquakes followed with only 71 of the some 330 quakes recorded larger than magnitude 2. By comparison, the 2015 event included 89 earthquakes over a magnitude 2 in a 2-month period, according to the San Francisco Chronicle. The Chronicle and SF Gate are both owned by Hearst, but have separate newsrooms. It says still, residents report that the ongoing shaking is unsettling. So remember, Yahawashi said wars, rumors of wars, and earthquakes in many parts of the earth. It says similar patterns of cluster earthquakes are common in areas with geothermal activity, such as near volcanoes, but that doesn't apply to San Ramon. Instead, the culprit might be pressurized fluids pushing through the Earth's crust and activating a network of little faults. See? That's our signs in the Earth. It says Minton said the convergence of multiple faults around San Ramon that move in different directions, including the Calaveras fault, broke the rock in between, creating fluid-filled cracks. The process that is making all these little earthquakes related to very small, complex faults, Minton explained. These are not the kind of faults that host large magnitude earthquakes. It's fundamentally a different process. Signs of the earthquake swarm moving to a new area can concern seismologists, Minton said, but for now that seems unlikely. Yeah, for now that seems unlikely, but at the end of the day, only time will tell. And the time is telling that these wars, rumors of wars, and these earthquakes are telling that Yahawashi's return is near. So Yahawashi is coming. So, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, a.k.a. the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.